Hello and welcome back to Africa Rising. We're talking about whether urbanization has reduced family ties. And we're going to introduce our panel, so let's start here.
My name is Joseph Nyamongo.
I'm calling Stego and I do sports ministry.
Wow, sports ministry.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
My name is Gabby. I'm a student. Yeah, basically.
So let me ask you guys a question. Has urbanization reduced family ties? Are we moving away from the whole idea of the family unit? Do we not want our relatives from the reserve to come and visit us anymore? We just want to be alone with me and mine? Or are we still open? Are we still open to having people? Do we still want to go home? That whole thing of going up country for Christmas. Do we still want to do those things? I'm going to start with ladies. Ladies first.
Yes.
It has.
To a big extent it has. Because first of all, when you're with your relatives, like for me, let's say, I have met like at most 5 of my relatives.
Wow. Because
we don't live in the same country. And it's not like it's a big thing to me because I don't get to meet them. I don't know them at all. So it hasn't made a big impact on my life. But I think not meeting your relatives holds you back a bit. Because you do not know where you came from. You can't tell people that maybe my cousins are like this. But you have your friends to make up for that. So yeah, it has reduced. And it has a lot.
Yeah, for one reason, like me right now, I don't know my native language.
You don't know your native language? Does anyone here know their native language?
I
definitely know.
You don't know?
I definitely know.
You know it?
Exactly.
Congratulations.
I cannot miss knowing my native language.
Wow. I think you need to tell us some words. Me, I only know hi.
Even me, I know hi. That's all.
So you think that maybe if you had interacted more with your family, we would know a lot more?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Because me was born here. I really don't know my grandmother's sisters or what. Or my cousins.
I'm just realizing that even me, I don't know my grandmother's sisters. My cousins, I know, but I don't talk to them a lot. But I know them.
And don't you find that kind of weird, shocking? We can take it, for example, from our parents. They've from time to time, taken the time to take us through the family ties, you finding a place. Because I don't think if it is normal for you growing up and then, after sometime in your adult lives, in later stages of your adult life, you'll find that there will be a big crisis because you'll have what we call identity crisis. You want to identify yourself with a certain, maybe culture, and when you missed that interface, it shall have brought problems in your life.
But there's one reason that is not good. If you tell me something and I was in that place actually growing in it, it would have been better. You'll understand it more better than now. Like me, I don't understand even how to deal with things in traditional way or how they are doing it.
But do you want to? Do you want to know? Like, for example, if you're going to get married, do you want to introduce the traditional things into the marriage process?
Because we are Africans, and the marriage life of today is for Western. It is Western language. That's why I have to know my native so that I can practice.
Okay. Basically, really, all these traditional things are being left behind as it is. We are westernized in everything. The way we dress, the way we eat. Everyone wants to eat Chinese, Thai food.
This is the truth.
So honestly,
you're really just telling me things I've not thought about.
Honestly, by the time you start realizing my grandmother used to cook this, you don't even know your grandmother used to cook what. So family ties with your relatives. People are coming to town every day to find new jobs, a new life. They forget the people at home. So you don't have ties with them anymore. You don't know what they're doing. You don't even know basically nothing about them.
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think one of the reasons that this has happened is because people are afraid that by keeping our relatives and extended family close to us, they'll just want things? They want money, they want this. Do you think that's one of the contributing factors? What do you think?
I think absolutely not.
Uh-huh.
Because when we talk about family ties, it is relative. For one thing, what I know, urbanization has what we call positive and negative impacts. And one thing about negative impact is when you find that you falter in taking that relationship to another level. When you find that, for example, economic crisis comes and affects the way you relate to others, that you don't find maybe time to visit the rural places or up country to go and socialize with them than back in the days. But I find it quite interesting on the positive side of it, because actually, if I can take analogs of the president of US,
Yes.
where he had to come all the way from US to come to Kenya and find who he is. I mean, the place where his father was, brought up, and identify himself with the true culture that he is, accept himself as an African, and know as in the cultural values, because these are aesthetical values that we live with. You cannot actually forget them. The fact that you come all the way from Shags, you come to Nairobi, you stay whichever life, whether you stay in Lavington, Runda or whatever, you still keep those values with you.
But it also depends.
They are strong in you.
When and which age you came out from Shags. Because, for example, when you came to town when you're a grown man, it's different from when you came in town when you're a young
person.
Born here.
If you're born here, if you come from Shags when you're a young man, then I think you'll change, because then you will explore things like such. But when you come from Shags when you're a grown man, maybe that's when you will be rooted to your Nini culture, and you won't leave it, but you will have to bear with the present condition.
Okay, let me ask you guys a question. Just another point of view. Now that, let's say we're saying that urbanization has severed family ties a little bit. Has it really severed family ties, or have we created new ties when we move away from the reserve to the cities? Is it that maybe we found new things instead of keeping with the old things? Are we just saying that the times are changing, or are we saying that this thing of not being friends with the people in the reserve is terrible?
We've changed our family ties.
Yeah, we've changed our family ties. So we still have family ties, but
we have
different.
Family, but now we've redefined family from family as of blood to family as of friends.
Yeah.
Because my friends are my family.
Yeah.
Without them, I would not survive. So we've just redefined what family is to friendships and family now and all that.
To its original setting.
So we probably behave the same way. It's just that we behave the same way in a different setting with a different set of people who maybe are not necessarily related to us by blood.
Exactly.
You would do anything for those people, just as you do anything for your family, blood. And
you can take the states. For example, the states. You will find that because of these movements and such things, that parents they don't have time for their children like such. They are always working. Those ties are the ones which you are talking about. So it would be better if we urbanize our rural areas.
That's what I was going to go to next.
That's interesting.
Because when we urbanize them, then we'll grow technologically, and we'll still have that culture in us, but we are more better.
But it should not escape your idea that despite all these fantasies through the television and everything we see on television about the Western countries, never has it occurred to you that even back in the States, they do have their own villages. Back in Texas, they do have what you call the Wild Wild West.
But you find in the Wild Wild West,
they give you the Indians, the Red Indians, back in the States.
They keep their ties, because when you go to
but also American Indians keep their ties. Yeah. There are 5 in the whole America.
That is exactly where I'm coming from. Is exactly what I want to point out is that urbanization in itself has, like what I said before, has negative impacts and positive impacts. You see, what we normally concentrate on is the positive impact, because despite the urbanization, the digital age that we are in, newer technologies coming in and out, it does not sever the family ties. You still get in touch with your folks back at home. You still have that strong, my brother, you can in fact, it is in your pride,
But
for example,
the whole idea here is about keeping our culture.
You still
Because you won't keep your culture if you
Do
are
we, like in
communicating to
Nairobi?
me. Communicating to me will be different than being with me.
Because it's very hard. For example, for a lot of us, you're one of the. In fact, I think I would say you're one of the lucky people in Nairobi, because you live here, you work here, you can relate to the people in the reserve. You can talk to them. It's my mom has been nagging me to call my grandmother. You know why I'm not calling her? How will we
language
talk?
will you speak?
Which language will we talk?
Yeah, exactly.
She'll speak her broken Kiswahili, and then me, I'll speak my broken Kiswahili, because now we all have broken Kiswahili. We meet at the level of broken Kiswahili. And the thing is, imagine all the things she has to tell me. All the stuff she can give me. So this is what I'm going to ask us to do at this point. I think we're all, at least even though we're on opposing sides, I think we all agree that severing family ties is a bad thing. Right? Are we all in agreement about that? It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing, and it's important for us to keep in touch with the family. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is, let's give Africa examples of ways we can do this. I think since you're the living example, what are some of the things you've done to keep in touch with your family, to make sure that you keep in touch with your family?
If I should just highlight on the background where I come from, because I was born and partly raised in Mombasa. That is the place of my birth. And I have schooled in Kisumu, but most of the times I was here in Nairobi, because during school term times I attend school at Kisumu, but during the holidays I stay in Nairobi. In Nairobi. Yeah. So what I actually believe is that during my in the family, what we had is that my father and mother used to actually introduce us to these strong family and cultural values back at home, as in not actually visiting the rural village or the up country, but actually trying to speak us in that mother tongue. Even maybe we just get maybe 1-2 words, and not concentrating so much on English, because we knew less of Kiswahili. What we used to speak, only my father used to speak in English to us, now the children. Everyone was English. Only my mom insisted on speaking us in mother tongue. Whether we understand it or not, she was so incessant that despite, even if we do not understand, she has to insist that she cannot actually change it from mother tongue and explain it in English or Kiswahili. Never. She could not. She would
speak to you.
She was incessant. In fact, she insisted on speaking to us in mother tongue.
So what you're saying is, one of the things we can do is try and reacquaint ourselves with mother tongue.
Exactly.
And maybe even try to teach our children.
Mother
tongue. Okay, give us another way in which we can keep our family ties.
To me, I think you can, when you have children, when you're in their own holidays, you don't leave them here or give them PlayStation or something. You just take them to Shags.
Okay, maybe not for the whole time, but
once.
You should agree maybe to go, even if it's for 2 days, twice a year.
Not 2 days. 2 days is little.
Because me, I can't stay in Shags for a week. Or better, we should be going.
All of us as a family, you should go to Shags, stay there for a month, because when you stay for a month at least, you learn something.
I'm not so sure about that one. I don't know if I can do it, but I'm going to ask you to tell us quickly.
The reason why people are breaking ties is because people are looking for better lives. You move away from your family to go and look for money. Then maybe you send it back, maybe you don't even get any, you become a crook yourself. Life becomes a mess, you don't go back home, you don't know your people. Your children grow up, they don't know anyone. So I think, if we're saying we're urbanizing and we're developing and all, we should start with where we came from.
So much for coming in today. I think those are some good suggestions that Africa can take to, just get back in touch with our people. I think we should all call our grandmothers today.
Definitely.
Each and every one of you, call your grandmother right now. We want to thank a couple of people. We want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Palacina Interiors for the wonderful interior design on our set today. We want to thank H2O for water. We want to thank Ogopa DJs and Trackmasters for the wonderful music videos from East Africa. We want to thank Kipenzi Designs for my glorious jewelry. We want to hear what you have to say. What do you think are some really good ways in which Africans could strengthen their family ties? You can write to us. Our email address is africarising@xmediakenya.com. That's africarising@xmediakenya.com. Or you could, go to our website and check us out. That's www.xmediakenya.com. www.xmediakenya.com. Look out for the hyperlink for Africa Rising. So guys, we're gonna introduce ourselves one more time and just say goodbye to Africa.
I'm Joseph Nyamongo.
I'm Collins.
I'm Gabby.
I'm Atemi Oyungu, and you have been watching Africa Rising. See you next time.